Hey guys, quick shout out to all of our sponsors. Started with Taigatu. This is a brand that's based out here in the Northwest, started by two brothers, and their motto is freedom from ordinary. This brand is an amazing lifestyle brand. Go check them out, Taigatu. Use the code TOPRATEDMMA for a discount at the checkout. Reweb, they're a veteran-owned digital marketing agency, and they're on a mission to help 1 million small businesses and feed 1 billion people by giving back. In fact, if you go to their website, you can fill out a form right now. They will give you a personalized video review of your website and help you with some strategies for free. Just tell them Top Rated May sent you. Go check them out, rewebbed.com. Combat flags. They do flags like the one behind me and the original combat flag, which is a 4x6-inch flag made by fatigues that are donated to combat flags from soldiers that wore them. And the cool thing is, every combat flag that comes out to you has the story of the soldier that wore that fatigue. They have donated close to $80,000 to Stop Soldier Suicide, a great organization. Go check them out, Combat Flags. Rep Sports. Look, this is not your typical supplement store. These guys have everything and they taste great and it's good prices. Protein, weight loss, muscle build, pre-workout, you name it, they've got it. Plus, they're the makers of Raise Energy. Like I said, go check them out. Rep Sports at topratedmma.com. Use the code TOPRATEDMMA for 15% off your order and go order them today.
Trent, you're a husband, a father, founder of Hustle Energy. You're also a house flipper and part of Arete Syndicate, man. Really excited to have you on. Thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, killer beard too, by the way.
Thank you. Not quite as epic as yours, but I'm working on it.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I always love to go back, with my guests. Like, where'd you grow up? What was childhood like for you?
Yeah, so I grew up in a suburb of Salt Lake City, Utah.
Okay.
Been here pretty much my whole life, except for 1 year I did live in Oxford, England, while my dad was trying to finish his doctorate degree there. But I grew up with parents of entrepreneurs. I'm the youngest of 6 kids, and
wow.
It was a great childhood. I had a lot of great experiences. Got to see the entrepreneurship side with my parents, and I decided from a young age that's what I'm going for.
Yeah, I think I was reading you used to like sell baseball cards and stuff at a young age too, right?
Yep. So I started selling some baseball cards around age 6, just, to help fund the hobby. If I get duplicates of some desirable cards, I go to the park and lay out my cards on a blanket and, I try and sell them to people passing by and then take that money and go buy more cards.
Come on. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I love the early entrepreneurship stuff. I used to mow lawns at 10 years old. I had like 2 summers full of recurring clients and stuff like that, man. And I love the early age entrepreneurs, man. It's always fun to get that up and running. One of the things that you mentioned on your website, I was kind of looking through on you here, is you help people overcome obstacles and mindset and provide these practical tactics when they're leaving their 9 to 5. And always an interesting question, but what's a major obstacle that you had to overcome? And then kind of the second question of that is what can folks expect when they work with you on this type of stuff?
Yeah. So first and foremost, my biggest obstacle has been persistence.
Okay.
Honestly, I've had some success in the past. And so I also, being the youngest, I saw my parents at their most successful when they were entrepreneurs. And so to me, it wasn't as much work as I initially expected it to be.
Sure.
And some of the businesses I was in, I had success fairly early in it. So it was like, okay, well, this entrepreneurship thing is easy. And so if I started a new business and it didn't do well almost immediately, it was like, well, forget about it. This isn't the one.
Right.
And so I've learned throughout, my journey that persistence is extremely important, and also having a strong why behind it of why you're doing this, what kind of impact you're trying to create. That is a huge difference changer in, everybody's looking for motivation. Motivation's not always going to be there. You've got to have something to help you move forward in spite of no motivation. And that's something that has been a huge part of my journey. But then, there's a whole personal development side that I've discovered through this process on, how that's helped me in my business. And, that's something I can help other people with in in terms of, they're stuck in their 9 to 5 and they want to leave that, because I've been there. I've been an entrepreneur, my whole life, but I've had to be in the 9 to 5 to, help make ends meet and pay the bills. And I hated every second of it, but I did it. And I tend to resonate with those people that are stuck in that situation and have a side hustle already, or they want to start a side hustle, or they want to get out of there and start their own business. And, I help people in that mindset aspect through, services, products, and all sorts of different avenues to try and help them get through that.
Yeah. Man, I tell you, I'm one of those guys. I work full time, blessed enough to work for a startup though. So it's like I'm employee number 18 early on, and I'm actually the oldest guy in the company at 40 years old, which is really funny. But and then I just continue to do the side hustle with my podcast and things like that, man. And yeah, it's a struggle at times, because there's times where I just want to take my podcast and go, I'm done with everything else, but I need to obviously pay some bills. So we'll get there eventually. But yeah, I love that you're helping people get out of that, man. You've founded a few companies in your life, and your current project is this Hustle Energy. For those who don't know, what is Hustle Energy, and why did you decide to launch this thing?
Yeah, so this started about 7 years ago as an idea. I was in that 9 to 5 and I hated it. I'd get home from work, and, I've got family obligations, I've got community obligations, I've got, everything you can think of. At the end of the day, it's like, I've got this idea, but I just don't have the energy. I don't have the focus to work on this. And so it was an idea of something geared towards the entrepreneurs, or the entrepreneurs, the people that want to become entrepreneurs. And it started as, totally different vehicles. I didn't want a capsule. I wanted, something that was a little bit different than what the market typically had. It started out as a gummy bear type thing. Okay. Spent a year trying to produce that, and then spent the last 2 years producing this powdered drink mix that helps you focus. But it wasn't just this product that I wanted. I wanted to create an entrepreneurship brand to help those people in similar situations, help them hustle, give them that hustle energy, the thing that helps them overcome their obstacles to get to that next step in their entrepreneurship journey. And so the product just launched. It's, like I said, 7 years of an idea, 3 years of like consistent work at this thing with all sorts of obstacles in the way, but it's there. It's had great feedback. Nice. I'm excited for it. So.
Well, energy drinks, that whole arena is probably really tough to get into. What makes the Hustle Energy different than all those other guys out there? Obviously, it's a powder compared to like the Bangs and the Monsters and out there and stuff like that. But, what makes that Hustle Energy different?
Yeah. So first and foremost, the primary purpose of it is for focus. So it is different than just an extreme energy boost. It does have an energy boost to it, but is very mild. And most people honestly don't even recognize the energy boost aspect. They would just recognize, hey, I took this in the morning, and at 2 p.m. I didn't have that fall off. I didn't have that crash that I normally have.
Nice.
So it is a mild energy aspect, but it's an extreme focus, help you get your job done and get working on that side hustle. And there's no caffeine to it. And so it's something that you can take towards the later end of the day. You can still fall asleep. It's something that I created with a lot of feedback from other entrepreneurs, but then also from my own experiences.
Yeah. Man, love it. We all need a little bit more focus in our life. That's for dang sure, man. One of the things that I noticed on your Instagram is you mentioned that you're a house flipper, or you've done some house flipping before. I want to touch base on the housing market, one for personal curiosity too, but how is the housing market right now, and how do you see it going after this 2020?
Right now, it is just been crazy. It's honestly hard to find houses to flip right now, just because there's such low inventory. So there's a lot of demand out there, and which helps on the selling side, but it's hard on the buying side. So typically I like to have, I'm not super passionate about the house flipping. It's honestly something to help pay the bills, that gives me the freedom and flexibility to work on, the bigger overarching goals. But typically like to have about 3 houses going at a time.
Nice.
And right now I've got one, and
Okay.
that's, I'm always looking, and that's the way the market is. I'm not going to buy something that's, too high and going to lose money. And so it's been interesting trying to get things picking up, but then at the same time, the last 2 houses I've sold very quickly, full price or above ask. It was a really clean transaction.
Man, I'll tell you, up here where I'm at in Coeur d'Alene, I feel like we're being invaded by Californians, Oregonians, and Washingtonians, man.
Yep.
And they're coming in with their big bucks and buying up all the housing market, and and it's nuts. It's like you said, it's super hard for buyers out there right now. And man, I've seen the just influx of craziness happening in town. And I drive around to the store, and I see more California and Washington plates than I do Idaho plates. I'm like, what state am I in? It's just like one of those crazy things for sure, man.
Yeah. Speaking to the long-term ramifications, I don't think I really answered that, but the idea is, I think you're going to see a huge influx in suburbia, just for the fact that, people are, this whole COVID-19 thing has changed people's perspective in terms of what they want out of life. You see more people that understand they can work from home. They don't have to live in the city.
Yep.
And if they're going to be quarantined somewhere, they want a yard now.
Right.
And so you're going to see, as you're seeing personally in Idaho, a lot of people from out of state are moving in. And I think you're going to see a huge exodus from the cities. And I don't think it'll be completely wiped out, but you'll see an exodus from the cities towards suburbia, and you'll see the housing market go up, even with some uncertainty out there still. I think you'll see, the prices rise, especially in the suburbs.
Right, man. Yeah, that's a bummer for myself. We'll be looking. We've been keeping our eyes out on stuff for a while, man. It's been one of those things for sure too. What one of the other things that you're involved in, which is really cool to me, is the Arete Syndicate with Ed Mylett and Priscilla.
Yeah,
I follow Ed. A huge fan of his. Yeah. Really jealous of his $27 million house up here on the lake every time I go out on the water. But, what's been your experience with the Arete Syndicate so far, man?
Well, you've actually been able to speak with Ed on your podcast, which was super awesome. I'm jealous of that. But, I think it's been an incredible experience. So, you have weekly videos from Ed and Andy, live calls that you go on. And honestly, they're great, but they're not anything extremely different than the content they really put out, all the time. Gotcha. What the value in Arete is the network. How much you put into it is how much you get out of it. And I've had my expectations exceeded, because, I'm working on this powdered energy focus product geared towards entrepreneurs. And guess what? There's 2 other guys in Arete doing the same thing, and they're ahead of me.
Nice.
And you'd think by traditional logic, they're going to, be guarded and, step back. They're reaching out to me and saying, hey, these are the pitfalls I came across. This is what you're going to get into. This is how I can help you. So people are willing to help each other, even if you're in direct competition to each other. And there's people who are elite high performers that will give you time of day as long as you're in Arete as well. They understand the core values you're about and what you're willing to do to help others. And it's just been an incredible networking opportunity.
Man, I can't even imagine that. There's probably not even a price tag that you can put on that network that you have access to through Arete Syndicate, man. Just such an amazing group of people that are in that. But you also have this Hustle Your Day podcast, which is a great show, by the way. Why did you decide to start the podcast there? And tell me about the Hustle Your Day podcast, man.
Yeah, so it actually started, it's one of those things where I've been working on this product for so long, and it's like, I know this isn't the only aspect of, what hustle energy is. And I always thought a podcast would complement it really well. However, I've been an introvert my whole life, and I don't feel comfortable talking on on camera, on screen, or audio, whatever the case may be, or talking in person is like the scariest thing in the world to me.
Okay.
But, but the thing is, I knew that was, being introverted was a self-fulfilling prophecy. If I wasn't going to change it, it was just going to always be that way. And so I got uncomfortable, and I reached out to a couple friends at first and was like, hey, I'm thinking of starting this. Can we record something? And they were very generous with their time. I got some great episodes out of it. I'm like, okay, I'm getting a ton of value out of this. So somebody else has got to be getting value out of this. I've got to keep this going, not only for me, but for, anybody who happens to listen to it and it resonates with them. And so, it's something that, I interview entrepreneurs, those that have exited their 9-to-5 or currently have side hustles. And they are, the type of people that I want to be. I'm sitting here listening, writing notes the whole time. And, it's been super selfish because I'm getting a ton of value out of it. And so, I'm just putting it out there, hoping that other people get value out of it too. And, I've heard from others that they are getting value out of it. So that's been really rewarding.
Yeah. The podcast thing for me, that was something new. I had no idea what I was doing. Didn't know to look into the camera, didn't have the right lighting, and it's interesting now, where when I first started, it was all about like, hey, who can I have on my show? What's the big name guest? Right. And now it's more like, I want to, every show I learn from my guest about new things, about entrepreneurship, about mindset, about morning routines, struggles, obstacles, things like that. And it's been, like you said, it's almost like a selfish thing that I have, like, man, I want to keep this going because I'm learning so much just having this podcast. So I'm a big morning routine guy, but how important is a morning routine, and what's your morning routine like?
So great that you answer that or ask that question today, because so I am a big proponent of morning routines, and honestly, I've got an 18-month-old son.
Okay.
And he's thrown everything for a loop. And, I'm just starting to get back to a morning routine. So, I started 75 hard in February, and, it worked well with my morning routine, which was waking up at like 4:30 in the morning, going to get a workout in, and then, showered, get everything done, have some personal development time, and then get ready for when my kids wake up at 7 and get them to school.
Yeah.
Obviously, when a baby changes that whole thing of, he wakes up in the middle of the night, or he wakes up at 5 in the morning, and it's like, you've got to help out. And it totally changed everything. And I got way off my routine, and I kept telling my wife, I'm like, I got to get back to my routine. I got to get back. I'm better when I'm in my routine. So this morning I got back in my routine, started phase 1 of 75 hard, doing, waking up at 5 a.m. I've already, we're at 1 o'clock, and I've got pretty much everything done already for the day, because I'm more efficient in the morning.
Yeah.
And I love it. I always try and get a workout in, spend some time reading in the morning, and get a shower in and be ready to go for when the kids wake up.
Yeah, man. Hats off to you guys doing the 75 hard, man. Because I tried to do the 75 hard. The second workout was tough for me to do, having the full-time job, because I was getting off work and going, I need to go spend time with my family. I can't go do that second 45-minute workout. We do a bike ride as a family, something like that. But I just got done doing something that I launched called the 45-90, which is kind of similar, but it's 45 minutes of cardio, just one time a day. But I did that for 90 days straight, and I lost 29 pounds, and man, awesome. It, got back on the track of, really learning that personal development side of stuff, man. And I'm an early riser. I get up at 4 a.m. 6 days a week, and I set the alarm for 5 a.m. on Sundays, but rarely do I make it there. So yeah, morning routines, super important. But when you have the kids, man, it does throw a loop. My kids are 7 and 10 now, but man, I was like, having to break that up when they're, waking up in the middle of the night as infants and stuff like that too, man.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. My oldest is 8 now. So,
okay.
I mean, it's different between 8 and 18 months, just quite the contrast. So
totally. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I wanted to shift to a couple fun questions here for us.
Yeah.
I use these things are called pod decks, essentially just random questions for us podcasters. I'll pull one out and see how it goes here. So this one says, talk about your favorite famous dead person. So do you have someone who maybe was a celebrity that's passed that maybe was a favorite of yours, or a sports guy?
Interesting. It's hard to prepare for these because obviously they're something that it's, off the cuff.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm trying to think famous dead person. I think so for a long time, my dad was really into golfing and wanted to get me into golfing. And so I did a lot of, summer camps and whatnot. And I think the most famous person I met and I waited out for a while was Arnold Palmer.
Oh,
and
nice.
so I was able to meet him, and it was one of those things where it was, a young kid, you're not thinking straight. But I remember walking down, they had a little rope to cordon you off, and I got a book signed by him. And then, he goes to the news interview, and there I am in the background, like just looking like an idiot, 10, 11 years old, just like, hey, just waving at the camera for 2 minutes because there was nothing else that I could think of to do. But
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm big on music guy. So, what's the type of music that you like, or do you have a favorite band that you like to listen to?
Yeah. So, probably the music I listen to most now is Taylor Swift because of my girls. But
right.
Yeah,
nice.
I think my favorite band growing up was Blink-182.
Okay.
And that was actually my first concert that I went to. I really enjoyed listening to them. And then, through the years, it's obviously changed a little bit.
Sure.
But I'm trying to think right now who I listen to the most. Most of the time I'm listening to podcasts. So
okay. Sweet. Yeah. Well, you can't go wrong with T Swift or Blink-182. That's for sure. That's for sure. 2 more questions for you. Does it take money to make money?
It doesn't. I don't think it does. I think you know what, you can really hustle your way to a financial goal, because I think Gary Vee is a big proponent of this, of, you can find something for free on Craigslist and go flip it for some money, and then take that and buy something else and flip that. And so obviously if you're getting to the 7-8 figures, that point, it does require some money to make money, but
sure,
to make, ends meet, to make a few $1,000s, to even, get yourself to 6 figures, I don't think it takes money to make money.
Yeah. Awesome. Last question for you. What's your favorite part about being a dad?
Oh, good question. I think it is the gratitude you get from your kids and obviously they don't always love you, but for example, just when I went outside and did my outdoor workout, my 18-month-old son, he was just crying hysterically, banging on the door, trying to get out to see me, and wanted to be a part of it. Yeah. And, I strapped on my weighted vest and went out. And so I wasn't, right outside, but my wife sent me some pictures of him, just bawling. And, it's a great feeling loved in those moments by your kids, because it's a love you can't explain unless you've been a parent.
Yep. Absolutely. Trent, this has been such an awesome show. So much fun. Thank you so much for taking the time, man. Truly an honor to have you on the show. Really, really appreciate you taking the time, man.
Yeah, thank you, Eric.
Thank you so much for watching the show today. I so appreciate it. Please leave a comment down below. Leave us a review. Share this video. We want to get it in front of as many people as we can. I'm going to continue to bring on the best guests possible, from world changers, entrepreneurs, success-minded people, and the best up-and-coming fighters, real stories. We are creating visionaries here on this channel Thank you so much for checking it out. Have an awesome day.